Every year, there's a new round of comparisons between Samsung and the Chinese phone makers, and almost all of them end up in the same place. Home screen customization, lock screen widgets, dark mode versus light mode, which one lets you recolor more icons. Here's the thing, at this point, every major Android skin does that. ColorOS does it, OriginOS does it, MagicOS does it, One UI does it too. None of that tells you anything useful anymore. So instead, let's talk about the stuff that actually changes what your phone can do. First of all, press and hold the edge of the screen right here and Samsung's AI Select tool comes up. Circle anything on the screen, a photo, a paragraph, an object inside a video, and it hands you contextual actions. On the spot, translate it, turn it into a GIF or a GIF, whichever you prefer. Pull it out of the background and drop it elsewhere. Search for it. It's not a separate app you have to remember. It's just there, one gesture away, no matter what you're looking at. The most useful bit about this for myself is the pin function, where you can just have a part of any screen pinned as a temporary overlay onto your screen. Now, you can use this, for instance, when you have a list of groceries to order and you don't want to keep jumping back and forth between apps to add an item or two to your cart and look at your list again. And once you're done, you can just get rid of it as easily as this, and it won't go into your gallery or anything. Another use that this has for me is when I have a package to return where I'll need to read out a pickup code to the delivery person, and here's how I do it. I can also minimize it into a tiny bubble so that it won't mess with the content on my screen. And the good thing is I can have multiple of these bubbles at the same time for when I have more than one package to return. Very convenient. Next up, we got edge panels. Slide in from the same edge, and there's a whole toolbox waiting. There's a compass, a ruler, a flashlight, surface level, tally counter. None of these need a download. They're all in here. They're baked into the system, tucked into a sidebar that you can pull up from almost any screen, including full screen or pop-up apps. And here's how you can access all those different tools that I just mentioned, by the way. You just tap this right here, and there they are. And it sounds small until you're trying to check if a shelf is level and you don't feel like digging through an app drawer to find out. And the closest thing I've ever had to this on a Chinese phone is the sidebar that OPPO/OnePlus offers, which includes this area called the file dock, which is useful if you have a picture or a piece of text that you need to be sending to a lot of people frequently, but it's not temporary like the Samsung's AI Select thing and not really as helpful, at least to me. Now, the bottom navigation bar, if you're into it, is not locked to three shapes. I always do gestures, but it's always different on a Samsung. You can swap in a dedicated screenshot button, so no more finger gymnastics with power and volume down at the same time, or the weird and stupid palm gesture thing, which I don't even know why they came up with it. This is even faster than the three-finger swipe on Chinese UIs, or a camera shortcut, so that you not only free up a spot on the dock, but skip the home screen entirely and just tap straight into a photo from any screen. It's a small change, but it's the kind of thing you stop noticing you're using because it just quietly removes a step every time. Now, One UI's AI photo and video editing is where the gap gets hard to ignore. Samsung's editing suite covers generative edits, object removal, extremely convenient and versatile collage building, unlike any other, and a feature-packed video cleanup environment, all from the native gallery app. No third-party editor required ever. Now, I know what you're going to say. Obviously, all the other UIs offer a lot of these features too, if not all of them, but none of them is as comprehensive and well-designed as One UI's. They're either good for photo editing, or good for video editing, or well-designed. Never all three at the same time. And trust me, I've tried all of them. Now, with the AI eraser tool, and I'm pretty sure everybody's already seen numerous demonstrations of this, but what I thought I could do is sort of to put them all side by side, right next to each other, for better understanding. So same photo, same subject, same task. Remove the eye patch and see what's underneath. One UI was the only one that reconstructed the area convincingly, no smudging, no leftover outline, which, by the way, says a lot about how far this kind of AI editing has come. It's genuinely impressive from a software standpoint and mildly concerning from a what else could this be used for standpoint. Though at this point, that ship's probably sailed for all of us anyways. Also, past that single edit, the same toolset handles full background swaps, object relocation between photos, and AI-assisted collage layouts, plus a built-in tool for stripping background noise out of video clips. It's a genuinely comprehensive kit, and none of it needs you to leave the gallery app. Now, the downsides to all of this, though, which is not really being talked about by a lot of YouTubers, none of this is perfect, and it's worth being upfront about that. First of all, Samsung's biggest problem is explaining any of it. That press and hold gesture for AI select, there's nothing in settings that tells you it exists. You either heard about it from someone else, stumbled into it by accident, or you're finding out right now. And same story with the navbar customization from earlier. That's not even in the native settings app. You need good lock, Samsung's separate customization app to access it, and again, there's no signpost anywhere pointing you towards that. Second, even when a feature works, it doesn't always work the way it claims to. With AI Select, for instance, once you circle and pin a photo, you're supposed to be able to drag it straight onto an app for quick share. This is what this means, right? In practice, however, I couldn't get that to work on a single app. Now you can see that right here. It just keeps telling me can't drop images into this app. And I've tried this on WhatsApp, on Telegram, other messenger apps, the gallery app, Gemini. It just refuses to drop every single time. And you're back to manually doing all of this all over again and tapping the share button. The one upside it still does offer, though, is this delete after sharing option, which is really handy, but the core feature it was built around just doesn't do what it says on the tin. And of course, there's also DeX. Plug into a monitor or even just cast wirelessly, which is more useful, and One UI switches into DeX. Full desktop layout, resizable windows, a taskbar, drag and drop between apps like you're on a laptop, not a phone, and this is the one the Chinese skins generally do not have an answer for. There's no equivalent desktop mode running at this level of polish anywhere else in this comparison. If you've ever wanted your phone to double as a travel laptop for basic work, this right here is the feature that makes that realistic instead of theoretical. So next time someone says Chinese phone makers pushed Samsung out of the competition a long time ago, know that it's just not true. And take this from me, I've been making you videos with all of these phones. It might be true in some places, it definitely is actually. Cameras, charging speeds, batteries, performance, sure, but software depth is still a different conversation, and that conversation has nothing to do with wallpapers. All right, if this one does well, there's a part 2 in this coming. Same phones, but this time looking at the visual side, design language, animations, how each one actually feels to use day to day, side by side. That's a different fight, and I'll see you all on that one. Peace out.